Dear friends, welcome to Purpose Beyond Profit. In this hyper competitive business landscape, you hardly hear a CEO say, "We don't want to make large profits." But then Santosh Parulekar is not a regular CEO. Before he had to come back for personal reasons, Santosh Parulekar had worked in the financial sector for a long time, and he realized that banks are just financial intermediaries interested in profit maximization. So when he came back, he started his business venture, Pipal Tree Ventures Limited, to create social good and not just to maximize profit. So please welcome Mr. Santosh Parulekar. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening.
So, sir, before we begin, what I really liked about your particular business is that you started with a sense of ownership of the society, benefit of the society, and you've clearly mentioned that maximization of profits is not something that you are looking forward to. Your main motto rather is to uplift the downtrodden, uplift the people living in the rural sections of India. Would you want to elaborate a bit more on the mission of your organization and your company?
Okay. See, when Ankur, when we say that anyone does the business, okay, so anyone becomes the entrepreneur. So that's the time when we are looking to make profit. So in business, we are always looking to make profit, right? However, our intention, okay, when we started People Tree, my intention is not to maximize profit. Doesn't mean that we don't want to make it sustainable. We want to make it sustainable because if the organization is not sustainable, if organization continues to just lose the money, then eventually it will close down, right? So the organization has to be sustainable. It should strive towards making
Right.
it sustainable and some profit so that your employees and your organization continues to grow. However, we never wanted to and will never want to focus only on profit, or we would not focus only on maximizing our profit because we are the social enterprise, and in
Hmm.
social enterprise we want to maximize the benefit of our beneficiaries. Okay,
Hmm.
what it means,
Hmm.
I will just give you example, then you will understand, right, what it means. So for example, I have trained youths from the villages, and now I provide them jobs with construction company. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
now if they face problem in where they are working, okay, and if I have to spend money so that for their betterment, for example, if I have to spend money to provide them the good accommodation, okay,
Right.
good
Hmm.
food, good water, then
Hmm.
despite me losing the money, we provide that. Okay,
Hmm.
it might
Hmm.
not make business sense. Okay, if the
Correct.
person
Correct.
is working, he's getting a salary, then you might just say that let him manage from his salary. Okay, or like
Hmm.
in the construction industry, they would say that okay, let him stay in the hut. Okay, or tin sheds,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
They provide
Hmm.
tin sheds. However,
Hmm.
we say no, that we have to provide him the proper accommodation. If there are tin sheds available on construction sites, we refuse. Then we
Hmm.
provide them the accommodation at from our own money, okay, at our own
Hmm.
cost. So
Hmm.
these are
Hmm.
like examples where you have to take a call on whether you want to maximize profit or you want to first maximize the social benefit, and parallelly you should make profit. So that's the
Hmm.
our motto, and all our actions are mainly based on this the motto.
Hmm. Hmm. So sustainability is the key.
Yes,
Sustainability and social equality
yes,
is the prime focus here.
you are right.
And while going through your profile, I also noticed that you have worked, you have studied at some of the premium institutes,
Right.
and you have worked across the globe and in a very high profile job. Now, when we look at some of the current statistics, I was going through a news article recently which talked about some of the high ranking IITians and people from other MBA schools. and saw that 50-60% of them have settled abroad, right?
Yes.
Very few have remained in India.
Mm.
uh, Now tell me one thing, what was that key motivation, or what was that moment or incident or experience which really drove you to sort of not really give away your corporate field or corporate profile, but to actually venture into an area such as construction and work for the rural youth, because it's very difficult to sort of give up this kind of a, I wouldn't say less stressful job, but a more posh or more a posh kind of a job, as
Yes.
against working for rural youth.
I am. See, means I will just take
Yes.
you through the journey, okay? Because it's the
Hmm.
process is
Hmm.
gradual, okay. And as you correctly said that I have spent a lot of time abroad, and or in a correct way, what you say that I had splendid
Right.
time abroad, right? So like you are staying in five-star
Yes.
hotels, you are having the luxury, you are driving the most expensive cars,
Correct.
right?
Right.
So all that luxury you have, and that to the good climate, good social
Right.
things. However, in 2004 my father
Mm-hmm.
was not well, and so I that is the time when I was in on two minds, whether to settle abroad or
Mm-hmm.
come back to
Mm-hmm.
India. Okay. And my internal mind, it asked me, it told me that I should come back to India to
Hmm.
be with my
Hmm.
father. Okay. Then I decided not to stay abroad, and means obviously even my green card was in
Mm-hmm.
process, but I decided
Mm-hmm.
not to pursue it, and decided to come back to India with my
Mm-hmm.
family, means my
Mm-hmm.
wife. Okay. And she also agreed, and so we decided to
Mm-hmm.
settle in India. Now, in India, certainly I was heading the operations of our US company in India. So I was handling various
Mm-hmm.
things while in India. And that is the time I started thinking when I came back to India. And that is, I probably think, means now I think, probably that is the time when I was thinking that once I go back to my country, I should contribute something to
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
country. Okay. What I should contribute, I
Mm-hmm.
was not very
Mm-hmm.
clear. Okay, so when I came here, so I started thinking that I should do
Mm-hmm.
some social
Mm-hmm.
thing. Okay, and while I was thinking on that front, being with my father, my family, and all, and that time one means now you call it as
Right.
microfinance institution. Okay, so that in around
Hmm.
2005-6 time, so they approach
Mm-hmm.
us in
Mm-hmm.
US, okay, for some grant, because that time microfinancing was more run on the grant, even though just equity
Right.
and all were coming up. So they asked
Mm-hmm.
for a grant, and I was asked to just do some due
Mm-hmm.
diligence for
Mm-hmm.
them in India. Okay, because I was handling
Okay.
operations in India. So, and that's the time then I thought that because of my this inclination to do something for
Mm-hmm.
the country, I thought I should spend rather more
Hmm.
time in due
Hmm.
diligence. Okay. So I spent around 10 days. I visited various villages in
Mm-hmm.
Andhra Pradesh with them. Okay. Just to see what are the ground
Hmm.
realities, how
Hmm.
they are doing it. Because that model was wonderful, and what was little known
Correct.
that time in India. Okay. And when I visited the villages, okay, more than around 100
Hmm.
villages I visited. And that's the time when I realized, because frankly speaking, it's Andhra Pradesh, means now it's Telangana, but
Hmm.
it's Andhra Pradesh that time. You can't even speak their languages. So someone is really translating and telling you. But the
Hmm.
feeling which I got, okay, going through those villages, and then I was really touched by the issues
Hmm.
of those people, right? So I could sense the emotional
Hmm.
linkage,
Hmm.
bondage with
Hmm.
those people. Okay, and that's when I started thinking that we have to
Hmm.
do something
Hmm.
for them. Okay, means I have
Hmm.
to do something for them. Okay, forget
Hmm.
about microfinancing. Certainly, we helped that microfinancing institution, and then I got in touch with Grameen Bank. Then I studied
Yeah.
the Grameen Bank model. Okay, And I was very much impressed with Grameen Bank
Hmm.
Model 2. Okay, because as you understand, Grameen Bank has two
Hmm.
Model 1 and Model 2. Model 2 was
Right.
largely based on livelihood,
Right. Right.
creating livelihood. Okay, helping actively build a livelihood, and that's what I was impressed, because the microfinancing in India was
Hmm.
not focused on that. And I got in touch with them. We had a lot of interaction. In fact, I was about to go to Bangladesh, but then some
Hmm. Hmm.
violence erupted there, and all plans I was working on. And then suddenly
Hmm.
Grameen Bank got
Yes.
Nobel Prize.
This
Okay.
was
Now the problem
2006, right?
six, yeah, 2006
Hmm. Hmm.
end. Okay, November, December. And that's when, once they got Nobel Prize, Mr. Mohammad Yunus got Nobel Prize, then it really became like everyone wanted to get
Yes.
in
Yes.
microfinancing. Okay.
Hmm.
Even major corporates who their names, so they also wanted
Hmm.
to get in microfinancing. And as you know, then it
Hmm.
becomes
Hmm.
commercial operations, right? So, and that's when I said that let's not get into it, because our sole intention is not to just make money or
Hmm.
just to distribute money, not to be
Hmm.
become money lender, but want to contribute something to
Correct.
the country. And that's when I realized that our main focus to get in microfinancing was to create livelihood, because we wanted to do something related to livelihood,
Hmm.
linkage to livelihood. And then I said, why not to
Hmm.
focus only on livelihood? Okay, not to get in microfinancing, not
Hmm.
to provide funding, but just to livelihood. And then when we then did some studies, then
Hmm.
did some surveys, and then I realized that the critical thing is
Hmm.
employment for these
Hmm.
youths. Okay. See, there are two options. Means first important one thing which you have to realize is that majority of our rural people, they are dependent on
Hmm.
agriculture
Hmm.
income. Okay, and because of that, majority of the land holding is couple of acres, 1 acre,
Right.
2 acre, 3 acres. Okay, majority of people have very small land holding, and then it is rain fed agriculture. So if the rain is not there, then they
Hmm.
don't even gain
Correct.
something. So the problem is you have to help them have
Hmm.
the additional income. Okay. And that realization came to me when I visited those villages, when I realized what is their income and how much they are earning. Because many of them, even though we think from agriculture, they do not even get more than
Hmm.
20,000 income per annum. Okay, it's
Hmm.
very little. Okay,
Hmm.
and that too
Hmm.
is uncertain. So they have to have
Hmm.
some additional
Hmm.
income. Okay. Now the additional income in the larger family is better that someone works,
Right.
someone does a job. Okay. Now, if you see traditionally, if you go back traditionally, majority of our parents, they came. Even my father, he came from the agriculture background, and then he decided to move
Correct.
to city Mumbai for his
Hmm.
livelihood. Right? Some of
Yeah.
his family
When
members stayed back to continue
industrialism picked
agriculture.
up. Hmm.
Yes, you are right. Industrialism. And so, what then we thought is that in the larger family, it's better that we
Hmm.
proactively help them. Okay,
Hmm.
to get employment. Okay, and then so that automatically the additional
Right.
income comes in.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, when we are looking at where to train them and
Hmm.
where to place them, we were looking for the large
Hmm.
scale placement, and then certainly for the agriculture came
Hmm.
as the top
Hmm.
priority for two reasons. Okay, for two reasons. Traditionally, the agriculture, sorry, not agriculture, construction came
Hmm.
as the top priority. Now, traditionally, if you look at it, the agriculture people, they used to come and work as
Hmm.
the unskilled laborers in
Hmm.
construction. Okay, so they will come when there is no harvesting season, then they will come and then they will work
Hmm.
and they will go as
Hmm.
laborers. Okay. Second thing is that their profile is most suitable for construction, because they are used to work in soil
Right.
and dust and all, and construction also has a similar
Correct. Correct.
thing. Okay,
Hmm.
and it's physical work. So then we said, okay, and majority of these rural youth which we are
Hmm.
focusing on school
Hmm.
dropouts, right? So they are more suitable for construction. So we said that, okay, let me train them in
Hmm.
construction industry and let me place them in the
Hmm.
construction
Hmm.
industry. Okay. So that is how it started, really, that providing them training in construction and providing them
Hmm.
placement in construction. And then we worked on the model how to try to make it sustainable, even though we knew, as I said initially, that we will make losses, but eventually we have to
Hmm.
make it
Hmm.
sustainable. Okay. So this is how we started with the
Hmm.
youth employment training. And as we were doing that, as I said, the important focus which we always had is how to help rural families
Hmm.
earn additional
Hmm.
income. Okay. So now one is that you are providing training and
Hmm.
placement to youth. Then when we looked at the
Hmm.
girls or
Hmm.
women, okay, we did few pilot projects. Means for
Hmm.
example in Sonabhadra and all, which we can discuss afterward later if we have time. But we tried to do various projects for women and girls. But we realized that in construction there is not much interest from
Hmm.
women and girls to
Hmm.
work for a
Hmm.
career. Okay, and that's when we decided to train girls for say some
Hmm.
skills like retail,
Okay.
okay, shops, and provide them jobs in the nearby
Right.
taluka or
Right.
town, okay, so that they don't have to migrate to cities like Mumbai,
Hmm. Hmm.
Hyderabad, Delhi,
Hmm.
and all. Okay, so because our youth otherwise they have to migrate for construction, so these girls they can be near to their house and still they can
Right.
earn some
Right.
livelihood. Okay. Now when we, and that has become a great success, so that model certainly we continue to do in retail
Hmm.
as well as healthcare. So we provide training even in healthcare and
Hmm.
provide
Hmm.
jobs in healthcare based on
Hmm.
the location. While doing that, means obviously it comes okay, as you start working, then you start facing problem, then you start thinking, and then
Hmm.
you come out with the solution. So then we realize that okay, many of the women they have the problem that because from the villages even
Hmm.
going to a town, okay, is finally a travel. So many of these girls then they have to
Correct.
stay in the town,
Hmm.
okay, nearby town. So but majority of these women who are married then they
Hmm.
want to come
Hmm.
back home every
Hmm.
day. Okay, second thing is that they want to continue doing agriculture, they want to take care of their family, but we should help, they want
Hmm.
some additional
Hmm.
income. Okay, and that is when we decided to get into
Okay.
agri-allied initiatives, training as well as providing them the assistance. Like we do
Hmm.
goat farming
Hmm.
training, okay, and we help
Hmm.
them procure goats. We do honeybee
Right.
high-use training, okay, and honey production, honey processing, that type of training. We help them, we provide them high use, and then help them
Hmm. Hmm.
collection,
Hmm. Hmm.
market, and all.
That way they stay
We
closer
even
to the
do,
village also, and they
yes,
don't really have to
yes, you are right,
do
and
manual labor from that sort, which is
perfect.
sort of more
Yes.
strenuous.
Yes, you are right.
Hmm.
You are right. And then they can take care of family, and then this is the additional income. And as you know, that is even good for the climate, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
uh, and then we do like food processing. Like we started like neem seeds, make the organic neem cake and neem oil from it. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So similarly, some of these activities we continue to explore, and we will do more so that
Hmm.
the lady can take care of the family staying at the village as
Hmm.
well, he can earn the income. When I'm saying lady in the sense, it's not necessary all the time ladies, because we
Hmm.
even have some elderly men also, right? Because beyond the age
Hmm.
45 or 50, you
Hmm.
don't want to go out because you want to be at home, but you want some additional income. Okay,
Correct. Correct.
and
Correct.
so these activities we do it for them. So the intention is slowly we want to cover the entire rural family and provide them the opportunity to earn additional income. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Now here the word which I am using is that we want to provide them the opportunity to earn income. Okay,
Hmm.
we don't want to force anyone that okay, if you want income, we are providing you the opportunity, but
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
have to work for it. You cannot just say that okay, I will just sleep and then give me free meals. That's not we are here,
Correct.
right?
Correct. Correct.
So we
Correct.
are here to help you get additional income, but you have to work. You have to
Hmm.
work for it. And some
Right.
people they will work very hard. They can go construction companies. They can work and they can earn even 40, 50,000 rupees after 2, 3 years.
Hmm.
Many of
Hmm.
our boys they have gone abroad, so they are in Middle East. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
many of them are now connected to me via Facebook also.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but they made career on their own because we gave them
Hmm.
opportunity. They worked on the initial employment for 1, 2 years. Then they went to the other bigger companies. Eventually, they went abroad. Okay, so
Hmm.
our job
Hmm.
was to give them opportunity because they were in the village where they were not having opportunity to work with the large companies. Okay,
Hmm.
and we
Hmm.
train them, we provide them the jobs, give them opportunity with the large companies, and whoever wanted to work and hard working, they then flew, their careers flew. Now they are
Hmm.
doing very well. So
Very good.
similarly for the girls, we give opportunities. Means we have many girls even in Maharashtra. We
Hmm.
have trained them in Amravati, but many of
Hmm.
these girls they are now working in Pune at very senior positions also.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
At
Hmm.
store itself, they have got the career path, and then they
Right.
develop position. So
Hmm.
similarly, we are sure that even in, say, for example, honey production, honey production, the migration is required.
Correct.
So there are some people who take the lead in that. Okay,
Hmm.
so they become the leader in that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
they are slightly more money than the other people who are just setting up the hives, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
but that has to come, right? So that has to evolve. So these models evolve. So these
Right.
normally honey production and neem oil and all, we do it in groups, so that
Hmm.
some people get slightly more benefit, but
Hmm.
eventually everyone gets some benefit. But who works hard,
Hmm.
that person gets the more benefit.
Yeah.
Means
Yeah. Absolutely.
honey also someone has to do processing. So it's a
Hmm.
complex model which evolved over years. So last
Hmm.
13, 14 years we are doing it. So over 14 years it has evolved.
So it's basically an equality of opportunity, right?
Yes.
Many a
Yes.
times people have the capability, but they are not given equal opportunity.
You are right. You are right.
What you are doing is you are facilitating them by giving them equal opportunity, first by skilling them and then giving them opportunities, and then obviously it
Yes.
is
You
then
are
up
right.
to the individual to then further his or her career. uh,
Yes.
that
Yes.
also brings me to the next point, which is over the span of 15 odd years, if I'm not mistaken. What are the
Yes.
key challenges that you have faced while setting up People Tree Foundation and conducting your operations? Maybe fundraising may be a challenge. I'm sure that team building itself, because this is not purely a capitalist venture, but something which requires a lot of
Yes.
dedication towards the cause and the purpose, right? Uh, so, how have
Yes.
you overcome
Yes.
those challenges? Is what I wanted to know.
See, means I will take some few
Sure.
challenges which we faced. First challenge, as I said, we started with
Hmm.
construction
Hmm.
industry. Okay. And as you know that I come from the management type of background, and then spent lot of time with corporates and foreign organization and abroad. Okay, so majority of us, means inclusive of you, we have lot of
Hmm.
ethical thoughts. Okay, ethical
Hmm.
practices which we
Hmm.
have followed, right? Means, and some of them means we know
Hmm.
it's in our blood. Okay, means if we say something or if we write something, then we think
Hmm.
that we have to
Hmm.
follow.
Hmm.
Okay, and the biggest problem working with the construction company, I realized that majority of these things are not true when you work
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
construction
Hmm.
companies. Okay, and that was
Yeah.
a big shock
Yeah.
for me. Okay, because that they will say something, they will even give you in writing, while majority of them
Hmm.
they will not
Hmm.
even
Hmm.
follow this. Okay, and unfortunately you don't have
And
anything, you
which
can't
is
do
very
anything
much
about
in
it. Okay.
contrast with the way you see construction industry in the West. I am reminded of
Yes.
one of my visits to New York, where I saw that
Okay.
a construction was going on right in the middle of the city, but it was being done
Yes.
silently with the best of the gear, properly cordoned
Perfect.
place with complete uniform, safety, board, holdings, everything, right? And skilled,
Perfect.
highly skilled people getting equal level of respect that other citizens get,
Perfect.
which was quite eye opening for me, because when we look at the construction workers here and when we look at the construction workers there, there's a huge difference in the way they are
Perfect.
being treated. Yeah.
You are right. You are right. You are 100% right. Yeah, that the way we treat construction, and that is the second point, as you correctly said. That one is the ethical practices. Second thing, the social practices. Okay. Majority of these construction companies, okay, these people are petty. They put them through petty contractors. Okay. If you see, it's the historical system. Okay, because it is one of the oldest industry. Okay, in the world rather. Right? And you know what? That normally these people work through petty contractor. Petty contractors is a very small person. Okay, means he is not even worth 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs. Okay, And so because of the major focus is to get money, okay, earn as much as possible now. And then it's his job to retain his people, and then they give them some space where there are tin sheds where these workers stay. Means if you see even my where I stay in that building, okay, the repairing work is happening, so they have given that some huts there in the building itself, okay. And you know what, and then they feel they are doing something great because they want them to be staying next to the where the work is happening, but it's a shady place, right? So and you know what, in 10 by 10 hut, okay, there might be around in 100 square feet there might be around 20-25 people who are staying, okay. Then the water quality is poor, okay, means you are drink that bad water, and they don't feel anything about it, okay. And I'm just telling you, 10-15 years back it was very bad, okay, when we started. uh, Eventually as we realized that this is not what we want our boys to be doing work with, then we started providing this facility. Okay, we started our own staffing company. Okay, we said okay because you know what, I face a lot of problem. Means I'm not going to take name of the any companies because it is not. It is a large company. You take top 10 in India, and I'm telling you the example of one company. Okay, where I send my boys to Ahmedabad. Okay, Gujarat, and this was my second batch. Okay, this was my second batch from UP. I sent them to Allahabad, and these people, their project was doing something on the Sabarmati River. Okay, retail also. These boys went on the day one, and I got the call from the project manager at 9 o'clock in the morning. My boys reached there only 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I got the call. He says, "What are these boys? Which are these boys which you have sent me?" I said, "What is the problem?" He's saying, "You know what? I have 600 people on this site. Okay, you have only 30 people, 30 boys. I have 600 people on the site, and I don't have any toilets, and all these people, okay, they use all the river beds. And your boys, these 30 boys, they are asking for toilets." So I said, see, if they are, I mean, I frankly speaking, I was surprised by his reaction. Means he was just saying as if we are doing some mistake. The boys are doing some mistake for asking for toilets. You got it? And it's a large company, and then if you have 600 people on the site, that means you understand how big the project is, right? He was not ashamed of not having toilets, okay, 15 years back, but he was thinking that we are asking something which is, and then you know what, then I decided to take my people out because he was not agreeing to provide them any facilities of toilets, okay, and he wanted them to stay in the tin sheds, okay, and then fortunately I had other options, so I moved them to that within one day,
Yeah. And you
okay.
have moved the needle. Basically, by taking up this initiative, you have definitely moved the needle towards towards a more sustainable kind of vocation, right? For the rural employees.
Yes.
Hmm.
I agree. Ankur, means frankly speaking, I will tell you that as we started doing it, means my intention was that only because you know, as I said initially, my only focus that time was how to make it work, how to make sure that the students stay on sites, how they are provided at least the basic facilities which are must, as you said, right? Legally that they are right. And that time I means even today, okay, we don't think of the profit, okay, because you know the problem is, okay, if you don't provide all these facilities, then only you can make profit. That is the problem. That is how they have done the costing. You know, what construction companies do, you know, their management cost majority of the time is same, okay, their equipment cost keeps on going up, and their material cost is always going up, okay, but their labor cost has never gone up because they don't want to give even the 10% increase in the labor cost, okay. Now look at it, look at their proportion of the labor cost and the material and all, okay, they have always maintained the lowest labor cost, okay, and that is by contracting, subcontracting, subcontracting. Okay. And because of that, eventually the subcontractor, okay, he does not provide anything to these laborers, and then he tries to exploit them. Okay. So we said, and that's where the problem is, because because I am competing with those contractors. So suppose if they are giving him 10 square feet rate, I am also getting 10 square feet rate, but within that I have to provide all facilities to my people. Okay. So certainly he will make profit. Might not make profit. Many times I will make losses. Okay. Or sometimes I will make very small margin. Okay. But you know what? I said that okay, let's do that. Even though we make losses, but we want to set example for companies. Okay. And it has worked. Okay, I have seen, okay, at least some of these large companies on some of these large projects, okay, they have started providing slightly, I would say, decent facilities. Okay, I would not say still they are excellent. Means I again won't take a name, but it's probably the largest and the biggest company, construction company in India, and we had people working on their side, so their facilities were reasonably good, I would say. Their construction sites, the labor colonies were good, and they had a drinking water facility. But you know what? From the labor colony, okay, their drinking water facility was around 1 kilometer. Okay, so just tell me, how can you bring the drinking water from that far? Means who, no one thought of where I'm providing the drinking water and where the people are working. So if they are staying, if I am staying one place and 1 kilometer I have to go to get the drinking water, that's not possible. Every day you can't go, right? So what I'm saying is that this type of issues are still there, but at least the large companies on the large projects, they are trying to provide at least the decent facility wherever possible. Okay.
Yeah. And you have moved the needle.
Yeah.
Basically, by taking up this initiative, you have definitely moved the needle
Yes.
towards a more sustainable kind of vocation,
Profession.
right?
Yes, you are right.
For the
And
rural
additional thing,
employee.
what has happened, the construction companies slowly realize that retaining these people is also important. Okay. Previously, they never used to think. And, thanks to us, means I certainly would say thanks to us, some of these companies took these supervisors who we have trained, okay, they, and then they also started training. They took them on their payroll. Okay. So many of my boys then they work with the large companies, well-known companies as supervisors. Okay. Previously they never used to take these uneducated, lower educated people as supervisors. Okay. And then they put them on their payrolls. Okay. Their company's payroll or subsidiaries payroll. Okay.
So again here, what I really want to point out here is this also is because the credit goes to the kind of training, the kind of confidence building measures that your firm has taken, due to which these individuals have now got the confidence to ask for their rights, right? And once you are able to talk with confidence to others in authority, right, as equals, the people in authority also start respecting you and start giving you the kind of dignity and respect that you deserve. Until you remain squashed and until you remain pushed to the ground and you don't fight back, things don't change in a way. And I think this is in a way, a lot of credit to the way the people have been trained, because they may have gained a lot of confidence
Yes.
now to face these contractors and face these big construction
I agree.
companies,
I
right?
agree. I mean, see, having good training, having good support in the initial days by organization like us, and then that confidence that okay, nothing will go wrong if I stay with the organization. That itself gives a
Yeah,
lot of comfort to people to learn, grow, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
eventually they come out of their you can say shell. Okay, to fight.
yeah, absolutely, right. I also see this kind of an organization which you have set up, which is such a wonderful organization in its purpose and its execution, is, I'm sure, is not possible without the right team that you have to build, right? So, can you throw some light on how have you gone ahead and built a team, right? And how did you manage to get the kind of people who believe in this kind of purpose and support you in achieving this particular goal?
See, the first thing is, as I would say, I was slightly lucky to get some professionals in the organization. Because, we being all professionals, we certainly need professionals to start the business. And I was lucky to get people, even we get from
Hmm.
Suzlon, okay, SR. So from the training, their senior person from their training
Hmm.
team,
Hmm.
he joined me in training, okay. Then
Hmm.
I got
Hmm.
people from Tata Motors, okay. So what I'm saying is that I was lucky. When I'm saying lucky in the sense
Hmm.
to find the
Hmm.
right people at the right time, okay. And certainly, but the point
Hmm.
is that why they
Hmm.
should come and join us. That is the question, right? And that is where I was very clear on what is my goal and what is the organization
Hmm.
and goal
Hmm.
and what we are trying to do. Okay. And I made them very clear that you
Hmm.
might not be earning that much salary. Okay. We would try to match to the extent possible, but not
Hmm.
exactly the same or the growth and all. But if you want to contribute to the country, you want to contribute to the
Hmm.
betterment of the people, then you can join. And those are the
Hmm.
people who
Hmm.
joined us from the day one. Okay, means we started. And many of them
Hmm.
stayed with us
Hmm.
for more than even 10, 15 years. Okay, unfortunately, uh, some of them,
Oh,
one of them
okay.
expired recently,
Hmm.
a few years back, couple of years back. But basically, these are the people. Then they build a
Yeah,
team
yeah.
because they came from the professional background, and then we just rather than just focusing on the domain knowledge, we always even today we
Hmm.
focus on
Hmm.
the attitude of the people. Okay, because you know what, when we started the organization, even today, okay, the problem is that we we have a lot of difficulties to face. Okay, and when you stay in the villages, means I used to stay for almost 20 days a month in the
Hmm.
villages where our training centers are, where there is no electricity. Okay, now
Right.
at least the electricity situation is good. But if you look at 2007-8, we did not have in Bihar when I used to stay in the training center when there is no fan in the night. Okay,
Hmm.
no
Hmm.
electricity. Okay, so there is one point which you can hire and you can get private electricity, but you can just have a one tube light,
Right.
LED
Right.
light. Okay, and you are in the hot weather in Muzaffarpur, you have to sleep inside your
Hmm.
mosquito net because mosquito should not
Hmm.
bite you, and then you have to
Hmm.
sleep in such
Hmm.
things, right? So or take UP and also you have a lot of difficulties to face. The important thing is that is where your attitude is important, right? Your attitude to contribute, your attitude to do
Right.
something good, your attitude to feel good about that, all those difficulties and
Hmm.
not to
Hmm.
quit.
Hmm.
Okay. Means my operation head, who is now my
Hmm.
national head, he joined me, I think, 10 years back, and he was telling me even last week only. He said, "Sir, when I came here, okay, and when I visited the Allahabad center, and then I said, Arey, what type of
Hmm.
organization I have joined? Because I am staying in a
Hmm.
training center, and with no proper water, no these things means how the villages, what are the infrastructure, and then still I have to deliver. But then I eventually I realized that, and even all of us have realized even today, that builds your
Correct.
spiritual things. Okay, you it develops your internal
Hmm.
spiritual feelings, because being close to nature, being close to poor people, having faced these difficulties, then you are not afraid of
Hmm.
any
Hmm.
difficulties, right? And then you realize what is the real meaning
Hmm.
of the
Hmm.
world. Okay, real meaning
Hmm.
of your life. Otherwise, all the time you will always be thinking of the
Yeah.
material things because you spend all the time only with the what you say luxury and people who are enjoying luxury. Then you forget what is the real meaning of life. And many of the times this helps.
What really fascinates me here is that I have been abroad. I have seen some very beautiful places, and sometimes when I stay in India, when I go to places, I feel, yeah, look at the kind of places we are living in. What if you would have stayed abroad? And then I think that it's probably,
Yes,
if you have a purpose, any place gets better, right? And you are sort of
perfect.
a
You are right.
living
You are right.
epitome. You and your team who have like stayed with you for more than 10 years are living examples that if you
Yes,
have a purpose, you can be actually happy anywhere, right? Even in the worst of the
perfect. You are
situations,
right.
if you're striving for a greater good, all the wealth and the luxury in the
Yes,
world does not really matter so much as much
I
as the
I agree.
achievement of the purpose or the daily striving towards that achievement of purpose matters. So this particular aspects which you talked about, it's really touching for me, because coming from a CEO who stayed in rural areas, who slept with mosquito nets on his side, right? With one tube light on. You
Yes,
will not come across many CEOs or founders who would talk like that
yes,
and who would be grateful about this whole experience. So really, thanks for that.
yes,
And I understand why your team has been around for such a long time, because birds of feather flock together, right? Uh,
right,
if you are holding that kind of an attitude
right,
of
right.
someone who wants to contribute to the society, you bring those kind of people along. They further build that kind of a team. So
Yes,
this is hard
yes,
punched in the organization's DNA, so to say, right? And hence it becomes a purpose driven
yes. You are right.
organization. So,
You are right.
really thanks for that. That brings me to our
Yes,
next section, which is about what are the personality traits which you would require working in the social impact sector, and what are some of the traits that you have imbibed? Obviously, a service centric mindset, gratitude, I would say, is one of the aspect. Are there certain things which you had to learn or which you had to overcome, that Ankur, when I came in, I was
yes.
also pretty upset with the situations, or when I see my friends abroad, I also feel this way, that maybe it would have been good if I would have stayed abroad, something like that, something vulnerable from your side, but you overcome that. Then when you look at your purpose, would you want to share something like that?
Sure. See, first thing, as I said, ready for inconvenience, which I already shared with you, that
Yes.
certainly when you get in the social, then you face inconvenience, and which I already shared how I rather enjoyed. Means even today, I feel that that is how one develops himself or herself spiritually, by facing
Hmm.
difficulties. Okay, by
Hmm.
facing them with the happy mind, facing them thinking that I am doing service to society, and that's
Hmm.
one thing. And means to be very frank, okay, from day one, I don't know how, because I really came from the different way, but I never thought that I have to change, because I could adapt to it very quickly. Okay,
Hmm.
so that
Hmm.
is one thing where I did not have much issue. But the other problem is patience. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
because a person like me, who we don't have much patience, when especially when we work with corporates, so we want things to be done very fast. Okay,
Right.
and
Right.
and we are used to getting things done. That's what they call it as you have to get things done. Okay,
Right. Right.
but the problem is when you work with the social and when you work with the rural people. Okay, the
Hmm.
patience is the key. Ankur, the
Hmm.
problem is that means I used to think, and many of us think, who come from the very educated background and corporate background, we think that we can go and we can talk to people and we can convince them. Okay,
Hmm.
means
Hmm.
I personally had more than 100 200 village meetings in the initial days,
Hmm.
probably more than that,
Hmm.
more than 500
Right.
meetings in my initial 1 year 2 years time. And
Hmm.
initially used to think that okay, I just go and I tell these kids and then they will be convinced, because these are the rural people, what do they know? Okay,
Correct.
and
Correct.
you know what, that I eventually I realized they are much smarter than me when it comes to their benefit. Okay,
Hmm.
they know it
Hmm.
much better than me. Okay,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
they will
Hmm.
ask you questions. Okay, which are
Hmm. Hmm.
which you feel what nonsense questions they ask. Okay,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
means for example, in Bihar,
Hmm.
we had our head office in Patna, but in Muzaffarpur, when I used to go for the village meetings, one person, means the meeting where youths were there, but at the same time some elderly people also were there. And then
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
elderly person, he came, he asked me that obviously he asked in our Hindi, okay, Bihari
Hmm.
Hindi, okay, Maithili. So he asked me that what if you take my boy and if you take his kidney and you sell it? Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Now, you know what means?
Hmm.
I just thought out of blue, this person is thinking that I am going to
Yeah.
sell his boy's kidney, right?
Hmm.
And then I
Hmm.
thought, what is thinking? And then obviously I answered. And then I went on my way back. Okay, my people told me that what he was asking has happened in
Correct.
this
Correct.
process.
That's been the unfortunate reality for some of these
Yeah.
people. Hmm.
In fact, they told me afterward in UP also that some of these boys were sent to Hyderabad because we had one training center in Hyderabad, and you know they were sent for the security guard jobs, and their
Hmm.
kidneys were taken, and then some of those boys were even they got killed. Okay, they died. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so some of these things, and then you know the only option is patience. Means I still remember in Muzaffarpur the first one BR I am saying. Okay, so first 1 year I could train around 100 people, and out of
Hmm.
that only 10 people stayed on site. Okay, for more
Hmm.
than 3 months, in 6 months,
Hmm.
9 months, and all. And
Hmm.
I was getting mad. Okay, so
Hmm.
we are doing everything, but still these boys they come back, they don't return. Okay, and
Hmm.
they just
Hmm.
want their salary, but they are not willing to go back. But you know
Hmm.
what, these 10 boys who stayed, then slowly the number of people started going up. Okay. Now
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
people will come by reference, they go by reference and all that. So that cycle then starts. Okay.
Right.
But
Right.
patience is key because you cannot just expect overnight you will get results, and that is where I have to change myself. And today also because of that, I thank to getting into this because now I have a lot of patience.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
second thing I would say is which is related to patience, but is the resilience.
Right.
Okay, or we call it as grit, right? It's the
Yes.
grit is the other word which you can say
Correct.
because you know that there will be unforeseen difficulties and unexpected events.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
in and there will be more when you are in social entities, right?
Hmm.
So there could be anyone who can come and he can threaten you, especially when you are working in the villages.
Hmm.
There could be, I mean, it has happened with us also that some theft will happen, you know,
Hmm.
because you are not in the corporate environment, you are not in the protected environment.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
and it can happen just as a shock, and you have to get used to it. Means now I am so used to it that okay, I expect that something can go wrong even each week. Okay,
Right. Right. Right.
so these are some means which you know coming from our corporate background or
Hmm.
in the very disciplined and well mannered background. You know we have everything planned.
Right.
Okay, so you know that I will start from this time, I will reach this
Hmm.
time, I will
Hmm.
start this meeting this time, I will complete this meeting this time,
Hmm.
and all that.
Hmm.
Right,
Right.
and I have my flight back this time. If my flight is delayed by half an hour, then I get wild. Okay,
Right.
now
Right.
the problem is when you are working with this field in social, you know, you have to be ready to face this
Yeah.
unforeseen difficulty. I'll give you
Hmm.
example. Okay, now I don't know whether you have traveled in BR. Okay,
Hmm.
now my
Hmm.
first visit to BR, I started from Patna. I was going to Muzaffarpur, and on our bridge on Ganga. Okay, I was
Hmm.
on the bridge for 3 hours. Okay,
Okay. Hmm.
and then I realized that is the routine, that is the usual. I am telling you in 2009. Okay,
Hmm.
2009.
Hmm.
That is usual. That much traffic that normally you will get stuck on BA bridge. Okay,
Hmm.
so then I changed myself, and when I had to start from Muzaffarpur to Patna airport, I will get up at 4 o'clock and I will start at 4:30 so that I can reach 10 o'clock to the airport. Okay,
Correct. Correct.
and
Right.
I don't know, sitting in Muzaffarpur, how much traffic I will face at the Ganga River. Okay,
Hmm.
reach. So
Hmm.
I have to start at that time because sometime I will reach by 7 o'clock, sometime I will reach by 9 o'clock. So
Hmm.
what I'm saying is that grit, that resilience is also the things which I learned, and not being getting inconvenient by that. Okay, rather being relaxed. Okay, planning
Right.
things around that, not to get impatient while sitting in the car and getting irritated, but rather
Hmm.
enjoying it, observing people how they are behaving, if required,
Hmm.
getting some fruits to eat there and all that. So
Hmm.
you come out with the new ways to handle that.
Yeah.
I think that's the means I as I
Yeah.
say, right. I personally feel that I got developed as human being, much better human
Hmm.
being over years
Hmm.
as I got it. I don't think I would have been able to do that had I
Yeah.
continued with my corporate life.
Right. So I think patience, agile planning, and
Yes.
gratitude. I think those are the key aspects, right? When you're working in the social sector, because things will definitely not go as planned,
Yes.
especially since the resources are not there. And Mr. Parulekar, that sort of brings me to the end of our session. What the last thing which I want to talk about, what is, you have been doing this for a really long
Yes.
time. You've been
Yes.
working under very difficult circumstances. I'm sure it is much more stressful than the corporate life as well. How do you maintain a work life balance? And this is a message which I want you to give to the Indian youth about how they
Yes.
should maintain their work life balance and at the same time start contributing to the society.
Okay, that means very good question, rather, what you said. Ankur, I would say one thing is I personally believe that all of us should remain ourselves. Okay. We should not try to become someone. Means, you know what? Ankur is Ankur and Santosh is Santosh. Okay. I have my own interest, I have my own capabilities, and I should try to do best. But I should try to do best for myself and not to compete with Ankur. I should not become because Ankur or someone else has become big. So I just don't want
Hmm.
to try to become just that person.
Mm-hmm.
But rather,
Mm-hmm.
I should do what I feel I can do best and I should give it
Hmm.
100%. So that is one important thing, that I should choose whatever I am good at or I feel I
Hmm.
am good at and I want to do. Okay. Not just because somewhere there is a money,
Right.
someone becomes millionaire, someone becomes billionaire, so I want to do that. That's not required. And once I choose what I want to do, then I should give it full time and energy. Okay, that's what I have given up. Okay, I
Hmm.
gave my full time and energy. Even today I give.
Hmm.
Okay, even
Hmm.
when in
Hmm.
sleep I am thinking. But what I'm saying is that when you like it, then you enjoy it, and then you will not give it up easily because
Hmm.
difficulties are there. Anything you do, okay, even in personal life there are difficulties. Okay, but you don't give up. In your
Right.
relationship, there are
Right.
difficulties. If you are married or even if you are with your parents or your relatives, right? But you don't give up. So if you like it, if you are decided that it is my calling, then you will not give up. So don't give up. Okay. In this
Right.
world, nothing is easy. Okay. If you
Correct.
really want
Correct.
to achieve
Right.
something, you have to
Right.
put in efforts. And that's why all of us are working hard. So
Hmm.
nothing wrong in working hard. We have to work hard.
Hmm.
Okay. We should enjoy working hard
Hmm.
because I
Hmm.
am doing it because I love it. Now the next thing which I want to say to all my friends, okay, all these young people also, is don't go with herd mentality. You know what? Because sometimes we
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
attracted by this marketing gimmicks.
Hmm.
Okay, what
Hmm.
I mean by marketing gimmicks, means I see, okay, if
Yeah.
I'm tired, then drinking or smoking is the way. Is relax.
Correct.
Means I'm
Correct.
just giving you example. Okay, I mean that's not even in corporate the people feel.
Hmm.
Majority of the
Hmm.
corporates when I
Hmm.
work means
No,
I work with
absolutely.
Citibank also,
Hmm.
right? So each weekend having a liquor party, okay, or each installation having the party in the five-star hotel with the drinks is what
Hmm.
people feel
Hmm.
is the relaxation, and then we go with that. Okay, we feel that having the drinks each weekend or
Hmm.
each night is the relaxation. Okay, I'm I'm frankly speaking, I'm not against anything, but I'm just frankly speaking. Okay, these are marketing
Hmm.
gimmicks.
Hmm.
Okay, probably the best time which you will have or the
Right.
relaxation you will have is to spend time with your dear ones. Okay, could be your family, could be your friends.
Right.
Okay, or have with your family, have with
Hmm.
dinner, discuss on any topics, and have watch movies. Okay, do play
Hmm.
games, and then have good time between you than just spending
Hmm.
all the time partying and all. In my experience, that will never give you the relaxation.
Hmm.
And the last thing which I just want to say in one sentence is do physical exercises. Regularly, even today, I do 45
Hmm.
minutes or
Hmm.
1 hour exercises when I am in Mumbai. Do some physical exercise, have good diet, and don't get into the
Yes.
habits, bad habits of smoking and drinking
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
they will eventually drain you out. That's the only thing which I want to say.
Yeah,
Okay.
great, sir. Thanks a lot. I think, again, here I am reminded of a saying. It compare yourself to your worst yesterday rather than the best version of people which they showcase, right? Because people are going to show you their best version on
Yes,
social media.
yes, yes,
But what you need to compare is how you were doing yesterday vis-a-vis how you are
yes.
doing today, right? That is going to give you a lot of satisfaction.
Perfect,
And
perfect.
second is
Yeah,
be in the moment wherever you are.
perfect.
Give your best, give your
Yes.
100% complete attention. because that is what will bring you satisfaction and
Perfect.
happiness, rather than trying to sort of avoid
Yes.
those feelings and falling into some other bad habits just to avoid facing those
Yes.
difficulties. Great, sir. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your time, and all the
Perfect.
best
Perfect. You're right.
for all your future endeavors. It's a great service that you are providing to the nation, and I'm very very happy, pleased, and thankful that you could take out the time to speak to us and talk about your initiatives. I will pass on the message to a lot of many people, and I'm hoping that we will hear from a lot of people through our podcast.
Thank you. Thank you, Ankush, and thanks for your time.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, dear listeners. To hear such more inspiring stories of social entrepreneurship, subscribe to my podcast on Google Podcast, iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. Until next time, be good, do great. This is your host, Ankur Jadhav, signing off for now.